KR55. That's Brendan Schlittler. Um, and he's been joining us all season long, win or lose. We've been having these conversations. I've really enjoyed it. Brendan, you've given us a lot of basically an inside look at how a player deals with the emotions of the season. That I think that's been my favorite part. Um, Before we jump right in, I did want to mention this segment is sponsored by RT Rogers. Um, that they are a fuel delivery company based in Hinton, West Virginia. They deliver fuel in 6 different states now. So a good friend, our LU alum, Greg Rogers, is the owner and COO. And then, they have been growing and, yeah, they do a good business there in Hinton and really appreciate them jumping on board with us this year. That's their website down there, rtrogers.com. So if you have any fuel delivery needs, anything from propane to heating fuel at your house to large gasoline distribution, they do it all. So give them a shout, and just really appreciate them jumping on board with us this year. Actually had them at the game last night. Brendan was able to meet them and talk with them after the game. Um, yeah, that was pretty cool for them. Brendan, what is that like for you as a player? I mean, you're a Division I athlete. You play at Liberty. NIL is kind of new to everybody. What's it like having this obligation to talk with me every week? Is it something that you kind of look forward to? Is it like, man, I really don't want to do that? And then last night meeting RT Rogers, was that something you're like, so was it a cool experience for you? I guess we're not at a Power Five Alabama where you have all kinds of just people beating down the door. So is that kind of a unique opportunity, or is that something you just kind of do because it comes with the territory? Talk us through just your perception of the NIL deals and and talking with the media and then meeting people like that who kind of sponsor this, and just what is all that like for you?
Yeah, NIL has been awesome. It brings people in your life that you probably wouldn't have, gotten close with before or met before, and truly benefits both sides of the party. There's a lot more insight, a lot more relationships with the fans and companies and the students. So it's allowed me to, build those relationships and meet new people, and really just talk with new people and provide insight. Um, and obviously in return, there's some stuff, but I've enjoyed it, and I think I'm definitely excited to see, over the next 2 years what other opportunities come.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. I hadn't thought about that. So aside from, any kind of financial, uh, you know, agreements and all of that, free barbecue, whatever else you're getting, yeah, you're getting to meet a lot of good people, and you're still a student, and you're going to eventually need a job one day. And I think getting your name out there. Me personally, I think doing these lives has kind of put you out there and people can see. And even Greg and I were talking about it last night, that was a tough game yesterday. A lot of things could be uh, put on your unit in particular, from just watching the game, and you handle that with such grace. And every week we get on here, it's like, and Greg notices that too. So everybody watching is basically, you're getting to basically have an interview here with potential employers when you're done playing football. I think that's a great aspect of the NIL. So I hadn't thought about that. So let's talk about the game last night. Obviously not the result we all wanted. Pretty disappointed. How are you guys feeling after that? What has been the message to the team? And was it something that you just had to shake off again today? Has that been a difficult process today, or is it something you kind of now that you're closing in on the end of the season, you still have some goals to play for? Just talk to us about your emotional state after a game like that, and then the whole team. Like, what's the team feeling right now?
I think the team is kind of caught off guard and just straight up disappointed with what happened. That was not who we are. It's not what we want to be. And, as much as we can let that scratch and claw in our head for our thoughts, at the end of the day, we got one more game left at home. And the focus now is really grinding and having a great week of preparation, because we got to send these seniors off the correct way.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's hard to believe that next year we'll be going to a Liberty Flames football game and Dirty Tom Sargent will not be snapping the ball. That is kind of a wild thing. He's been there forever. So yeah, the seniors have a game left against Army, a great opponent. I know it's Vegas has it kind of as a close game, and we got to play our best football, or so it's kind of like right back to it. So. Last night when you walked in the locker room, I know you guys had like a mandatory thing in the locker room. Is the vibe of just complete, like you said, it was shock and disappointment, but is it just are you guys upset with each other? How does that? How do you play? How do you do that in a locker room with 85 guys? How do you all stay about that one mission? I know you've got it down pat, and it seems like you've done that. But is that kind of how the whole team responds, and does that come from the top with the coaching staff?
Yeah, everyone's different with how they respond to something like that. Obviously, coach is going to get our focus back immediately and tell us what we have to look forward to and what we have to change. So, but as a team, win or lose, our process and how we go at our business does not necessarily change, because we know what our process is built upon is going to produce wins in the future. So we focus more on meeting those consistent daily things, and the wins will come. So, really, just refocusing and pointing the team in a new direction was what happened last night.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I'll say as a positive from my perspective, a fan perspective, I've been there the last two losses, and I have noticed that the team, no matter if it was a two possession game at Ole Miss or the game was getting out of hand and late in the fourth quarter against Louisiana at home in front of a kind of a dismal crowd with Thanksgiving break and everything. It had all the makings to have a lot of personal fouls or a lot of quit, a lot of give up, a lot of yelling at each other on the sideline. Didn't see any of that last night, and I was really proud of that. I mean, I've experienced that myself and kind of and seen that. So is that kind of playing together and not giving up and always fighting to the last minute? Is that something that you guys pride yourself in? Because it was evident last night and at Ole Miss to me that this unit, you guys weren't looking to place blame anywhere, and that was on the sideline. You didn't have guys coming hanging their heads or throwing their helmets, anything like that. So is that something you guys pride yourself in?
100%. I think when you look at the fact that obviously the situation is not ideal and it's not what you wanted or expected, but we worked 365 days a year for 12, if we're blessed, 13 opportunities to play in a game. So that's kind of when reality hits you in the face. You work for this, so no matter what's going on, you got to go out there and do your thing.
So, um, yeah, I'll just ask you how the O line grayed out last night. It seemed like there's a lot of pressures, not a lot of running, but that was kind of the game plan. I'm assuming. But how will you guys grade out with? I've talked to Coach Greg before, Coach Sam, and he told me that how the O line grades out is: did you know what you were doing, and then how did you execute? And pancakes and stuff like that are added in a little bit too. But did you know what you were doing? Like, so was the communication there, and did you execute? How will the O line grade out on Monday when you guys watch the film? In your opinion?
Um, Not as good as we had hoped. I think we could have played a little bit better, but I do know that the guys in that room, we strained in pass protection. We strained in our blocks. We struggled to establish the running early, which kind of put us in a position once you're down 21-0, you got to start throwing a little bit more often. So we couldn't establish the run as much as we'd liked. I haven't watched all the film, so I don't know as far as the other guys, but we'll see tomorrow how it happens. So.
Very good, very good. All right, we have a game. What is going to be a good game on Saturday, a good opportunity, and I think we will be able to go to a bowl. So you have two games left with these seniors. We've talked a little bit about those guys before, but talk to me, especially the guys that you're in the same room with. What have they meant to you? You have 2 years of eligibility left, so they've kind of taken you in. You've been a starter now for a while, so I'm sure you've kind of gleaned a lot of things from some of those. Can you give me basically each of those seniors that's in your room that's been a factor in your development, and kind of just talk us through what you're going to miss about them and what you're going to take from them as a person, as a player, to carry on to the next group of O linemen?
Yeah, I got great memories with all of them, and definitely thankful for them. And that's going to be the real focus this week. Is as much as we want to throw a pity party about what's happened, every time I think about that, my mind redirects to these four guys in our room, and they've laid the groundworks. We were winning 6 games at the FCS level year before the transition, and now 7 wins this year, and it's not ideal, but we're still in a very blessed position, especially what happened last year. They've just done an incredible job at working through that transition, through a coaching staff change, and it really has set this university and this program up for the success that's going to come. And they've just taught me so much. I mean, it's a way of life that they've taught me. I could name a few things. It's everything. How you carry yourself, how you talk to people, how you prepare for games. It's everything. So those guys have done a great job at teaching me, and in return, I owe it to them to do the same to the younger guys when they leave.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. That's the stuff that college athletics is made of. Wins and losses, that's what we're all playing for and watching for and rooting for. But when it gets down to it, it's those experiences that you have with those and those bonds you build with your teammates, and it's really cool to hear. And hopefully we can go out and get a win and send these seniors out of Williams Stadium on a high note. Because you're right, they were recruited here at an FCS level. We weren't winning a ton of games when they first started, and kind of where they've brought in the expectation for our O line. What happened last year, even this year, some of the D lines that we've kind of dealt with in a good way. So props to those guys. Really thankful. Yeah. Any last comments here for the fans? Anybody watching? I'll be honest with you. I sulked all day today. I mean, we had 2 basketball losses. The field hockey team lost in the national championship today. Football had a kind of a disappointing loss last night. It's been a rough weekend for Flames fans. What would as a player, what would you like to see fans focus on and do for this upcoming week?
Yeah, they have every right to be upset. I mean, it wasn't a fun weekend with us losing basketball, and we thought we were going to get a chance at a natty today. But still, what they've done is so impressive at field hockey. But I would just say there's a bunch of young guys that are training their butts off, that are working hard towards a standard that is being raised every single day, and it's just a bump in the road to what's to come. There's so many big wins, so many big championships that are down the road, and it's just part of the journey. So we're flipping the script and excited to see what happens this week for these seniors.
Hey man, you're a pro. You're a pro. You've kept us level headed all year long, and I really appreciate that. And this might be potentially we have 2 more of these left. I just wanted to take the opportunity to say I appreciate, you know, uh, we try not to ask the tough questions, try not to put you in a difficult position to throw your teammates under the bus or your coaches under the bus or even complain at all. But even still, you navigate these things wonderfully, and really proud of you and the season you guys are having. And we will look forward to being there on Saturday and cheering you guys on.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night.
You as well.